Hey everybody, I watch a lot of movies, as you can imagine. For the past 3 years, I've been writing down every single movie that I see in the year, and I do like a lightning round review of all of the movies. This is going to be my fourth year in a row doing this, first time on this channel, and the way I do these reviews is I do absolutely no preparation for it. I just put up a picture of the poster of the movie, and I have to see if I can remember what it was about or if it was even good just based off the merits of the film alone. Some I'll remember fondly, some I'll forget completely, but we're going to have fun. So cheers. Here's to another year of movie watching. First movie of 2023, saw this way back in January of 2023, was Megan or Mithrigan, however you want to say that. A modern version of Chucky, except now it's not a doll, it's this sentient AI thing. It's like powered by Alexa or Siri or whatever the name of it was in the movie. If you like horror movies and slashers, if you're a fan of that kind of stuff, it's good to see once. If you're just a general movie watcher, you could probably skip it. This Place Rules was a documentary on HBO Max. I saw it on HBO Max. Now it's just Max, which is stupid. This host guy here in the poster, I know he's famous from something else. I don't remember his name. He interviewed a lot of people involved in the January 6th insurrection, riot, whatever you want to call it. It was an interesting documentary because he actually went out and talked to people that he disagrees with. If you like politics and cultural documentaries, check it out. Notting Hill, or as I like to call it, piece of crap. It was so sappy. I didn't feel the romance, and I didn't feel the comedy. I cannot recommend this one in good faith. Skip it. Goodfellas. The reason I'm putting this on is because I've seen it so long ago, it's basically a fresh watch for me. The coolest thing about this, there was an Alamo movie theater near us, and if you ever get the chance to go to one of the Alamo brand cinemas, do it because they're awesome. They host classic films, older films that are, classic like this, and you go and you see it in the big theater. There's other people there who also like it, and they're quoting the lines. I can't recommend it more if you like gangster stuff. Martin Scorsese, one of his best movies. It's an A-plus classic film. Check it out if you like this stuff. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Pretty much always been one of my favorite movies. I remember every line from this movie. I just thought it was cool. It's like these three guys going on a fun adventure in this faraway time, the 1920s or 30s in the South somewhere. It seemed a little disjointed. This happens, and then you go here, and there's a bank robbery, and then they save that guy from the Klansman. When they do the Soggy Bottom Boys song, the Man of Constant Sorrow thing, and it wins over the whole crowd, they just put on a show, and then the politician guy is like, arrest that man. And everyone's like, yeah, and they run out of the theater. Like, what? But if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's amazing. Our Idiot Brother. For some reason, this past year, I got a little obsessed with forgettable mid-budget movies from the 2000s. This being a great example of this. Paul Rudd looking like a hippie slacker loser dude, which is basically who he played in the movie. These are his sisters here, and he's their idiot slacker loser brother, and it's heartwarming. It's fine. I laughed a little bit. Can I recommend it though? Nah. Infinity Pool. Absolutely love this movie. I thought it was amazing. This poster is kind of weird. I don't know where I got this from. If you haven't seen it and you like artsy movies, you like horror movies, you like intense movies, and it even has some black comedy in it, it's amazing. Totally recommend seeing it. Coneheads. I was not amused. They have cones in their heads, and that was about the extent of the jokes. Like they look funny, and it was dumb. I remember there was an early role from Michael Richards, Kramer from Seinfeld, or maybe he was Kramer already. I don't remember when the hell this came out because I don't care. Skip it. Dodgeball. All right, when they say they don't make movies like this anymore, this is kind of what they're talking about. These like mid-budget, funny movies that are not tied to a huge franchise corporate conglomerate thing. This is a one and done comedy, and this one was funny as hell, had a bunch of good lines in it. Everyone remembers that if you could dodge a ball, you could dodge a wrench, and he hits him with the thing. And Chuck Norris in the end, it's just as funny as when I saw it 15, 20 years ago, whenever the hell this came out. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it. There's only 92 movies on this list this year for 2023. This year was slowed down a little bit because there were three big HBO series I rewatched. This was one of them. You know, what can I say about it that hasn't been said? If you haven't seen it, watch it. I don't need to go farther into this. The World According to Garp. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck this is either. I think it took me like 3 nights to finish this. Yeah, I can't recommend this. You know, and I kind of like weird, forgettable movies, but it just, didn't work. The Freshman. Okay, the only reason I watched this was because I saw the two people starring in it, and I was like, what the hell? Marlon Brando and Matthew Broderick were in a movie together? Like, what? And as you can see here on the poster, Marlon Brando is basically playing his Godfather character or something that's supposed to be that. He's basically being a parody of the, you know, the mob boss guy. They make you an offer you can't refuse, like that whole thing. And Matthew Broderick plays a freshman. I got a few chuckles out of me. Was it good? No. There's a reason some things are forgotten, and this can be forgotten. The Big Chill. It had no real plot. That guy is from, I know him from Wild Wild West. That's where I'll always know him from. And didn't care. The movie was like, whatever. I cannot recommend it. I don't even think I finished it. Maybe I wasn't from this generation and it just wasn't for me. I can't recommend. St. Elmo's Fire. The passion burns deep. More like the movie puts me to sleep because it sucked. Don't watch it. Hall Pass. Okay. So of all the, like I was saying, the 2000s mid-budget forgettable comedies, who remembers this? I barely remember the name. I just remember like seeing the poster or something. I laughed way much more than I was expecting to. So if you want a comedy, I can recommend it. Cocaine Bear. Oh my God, they're making a movie called Cocaine Bear? Let me guess. It's about like a bear that does cocaine and goes on a crazy rampage. And it's like this giant action comedy farce. And it was, but it wasn't good. Like, honestly, if you're going to make a movie, Cocaine Bear, where like a bear does a mountain of cocaine and goes on a rampage, go all in. Be as ridiculous as you can be. This did not do that. Going back to Goodfellas, which was one of Ray Liotta's best roles, this, I believe, was his last movie he appeared in before he died. And, well, I'd like to say he went out on a strong note, but Disclosure, Michael Douglas and Demi Moore. It was good. It was fine. I mean, it was a drama, an adult drama. Get the kids with a babysitter. We're going to go see this early 90s drama tonight because we're adults. Sexual harassment in the workplace and corporate blackmail and career blackmail, and really well acted. It was well written. Would I watch it again? No. It was very good. Like, objectively, it's a good movie. The One, starring Jet Li. When I was little, I would see this movie in Blockbuster. You know, I thought this had something to do with The Matrix. Because look at it. It's called The One. He's doing like a kung fu pose here. Something digital, or Thanos got to him. I don't know. Maybe I would have liked it better when I was like 13 years old. But I could not do this as an adult. Cannot recommend. You, Me, and Dupree. This guy was trying to marry her. They were engaged and he was like their idiot friend. There's like a theme with all these comedy movies. Like, you know, it's like your idiot friend. He brings people together or whatever. And that was kind of the point of this. I laughed a little bit. Honestly, the best thing that I think came from this movie was the song 100 Other Lovers by the band Devotchka, which I never heard of, but I loved it. It was playing towards like the climax of this movie, the emotional turnaround when Broken Nose Man here realizes he's gotta fix the mess he's created. It was good. The song was good. It was one of my favorite songs of last year. Movie? Forget it. The Brink. Yeah, so I think that's supposed to be Steve Bannon, and I barely remember this documentary. I don't really think I learned much from it. But, you know, if you squint your eyes, this kind of looks like the poster for a has-been soccer star. Like he's going to try and, you know, he's like, I can't kick the ball anymore. But yeah, don't watch it. Burn After Reading. Okay, so I have seen this before, but only once when it came out in theaters. And I watched it again in 2023, and it was hilarious. I love this movie. In fact, I watched it twice. And what I liked about this movie was just the message of just how meaningless all these people's lives are. Nothing meant anything in this movie. Oh man. The Watchmen. Okay, or Watchmen, whatever. The ending of the graphic novel makes a lot more sense than the ending of the movie. The ending came and I was just like, what? Dr. Manhattan was pulling the strings because he knew that no. This guy was pulling the strings to blame everyone with that the nukes would go off down Dr. Manhattan because he could take the blame or whatever, and he like went to Mars, but like actually like nukes went off and like everyone died. And I'm like, this isn't a good ending. So if you haven't seen it, see it, but like style over substance, you know? Birdman. It's good. It's good. I saw this like 2 or 3 times in theaters when it first came out. And there was a lot of really sarcastic, sardonic, whatever other sar words about idiots in the theater community, which I thought was hilarious. If you haven't seen it, totally recommend it. It has a great energy to it. John Wick 4. I was on the edge of my freaking seat. I loved it. So a lot of people are going to say that this one was not realistic, but that's what I loved about it. You know, like the first was grounded. Okay, I could see that taking place. The second, like, we're in fantasy world from there on in the franchise. There was like a very long shot where the camera was above Keanu and he was going through this building and he had like this super shotgun that like shot explosive fire rounds at people. It was one of the best action movies I've seen in a long time. While we're young, all right, back to the forgettable 2000s indie comedies. This dude and this lady, they meet this other couple who, as you can see, Adam, you got Kylo Ren here and the girl from Jennifer's Body, not Jennifer. And they meet this couple and they're a young, hip, urbane, with it hipster couple from Williamsburg or wherever in Brooklyn, you know, wherever the cool place is at the time. That's where they were from. The ending was really confusing. I felt like it switched 6 times who I was supposed to be sympathetic for or feel bad for or root for. It was well acted. It was well done. I can't in good conscience recommend it though. So goodbye. White chicks. You know, when they say they don't make them like this anymore, they're talking about pure art like this. It was funny. I laughed. I mean, it's really dumb. This is a smart choice if you want dumb. Wow, it's a small picture. I love you, man. This is another one of the forgettable 2000s mid-budget comedies. Note the white background with red text that you'll see in every single poster of this dude. And guess who's the idiot friend? This guy. They bond, they encounter conflicts, friends become enemies, enemies become friends. They learn something along the way. And I completely forget anything about this movie because it was really not that good. Indecent Proposal, Robert Redford, Demi Moore, and Woody Harrelson. You know, the weird thing is, I did not remember at all that Woody Harrelson was in this movie. I don't know if it's good or bad. I only remember these two. The suave dude who offers the struggling couple like 10 million bucks or whatever if he can like sleep with this girl. Melodramatic, over the top drama. Would I watch it twice? No. Was it interesting concept for like a drama? Sure. There was an old Simpsons episode where I can't remember the dude's name, but he looked like a parody of Bill Gates, and it's the whole episode just basically parodied this movie. So I finally filled in that gap in my memory of like, oh, so that's what they were referencing. Oh, okay. Can I recommend it? Michael Clayton. All right, so this is another one of those like adult dramas from the 2000s. And I remember seeing this poster all over Blockbuster and seeing the trailer for it. He's like, I'm Michael Clayton. This is a serious movie for adults. I'm a lawyer. What do you want? Basically, the whole movie, he walked around making that face like, what do you want? I actually think I fell asleep during this movie. All right, Super Mario Brothers movie. Mario's been around for a long time at this point, and they made this work for every generation of Mario fan. It was great, good family fun all around, and there were no like stupid messages or morals to get from the movie. It was just fun. Strange Days. This movie deserves a sip. So first off, the trailer for this movie, you should look it up because the trailer was a beautiful piece of marketing. It was a cyberpunk dystopian future movie where Voldemort here sells this drug. I forget what he's like a skeevy drug dealer. He's not a tough guy. He just always kind of skates by, weasels his way out of stuff. Man, what was the plot about? It's like some girl was in it. I don't know. She was like a cop or something. It was ambitious. The budget was huge. I think it was a major box office flop. It's named after the Doors song. Pretty much largely forgotten. I don't hear anyone talking about this movie. I liked it though. I don't remember a damn thing about it. Maybe that's the problem. Hot Summer Nights, A24. If I see A24 on a movie, I'll pretty much watch any of them because they're all at least interesting. And nowadays, that's interesting is all you can hope for. Where and when did this take place? It was like Hyannis Point. It was like around where the Kennedys are from in over one particular summer in like 1992 or something. And when I see that, like a very specific setting, coming of age story, I think like this is just some writer's fantasy. He's like, oh, my memoirs finally got picked up. Like people are going to know the journey I took. I always roll my eyes a bit when it's like, you'll see what it was like growing up in Massachusetts in 1992. It's like, I'm sure you had a great time. She was really good in the movie. I can't stand this guy. I don't know what it is about him. I can't stand that guy. Should you see it? Skip. Urge. These people are bored. They go to some big fancy party. There's this new drug called Urge. It's the talk of the town. It's the cat's pajamas, the bee's knees. Everyone's doing Urge, and it gives you an experience that you will never forget. You try it just once, but then you're going to want to try it more, and they go crazy, and James Bond is the dealer of Urge. So this movie was really bad, but the only reason I can recommend this is because Pierce Brosnan was hamming up the villain. If you want Pierce Brosnan unhinged, this is great. So check it out just for that. Okay, remember what I was saying about very specific coming of age stories? So this is, I don't like her face. This is the slums of Beverly Hills. Just a coming of age on the outskirts of Beverly Hills, like moving from one apartment to the other. It's like, these are my adventures of my youth. I turned them into a screenplay, and the screenplay got picked up. And oh, wow, we got Alan Arkin, Marissa Tomei be in it. It's like, yeah, what I get from this? Nothing. The Fly. This was pretty good. I mean, it was a quirky, oddball movie. Naked Jeff Goldblum on the cover. No, but it was good. I mean, it was based off that 1950s science gone bad movie where the guy turns into a fly. The Fly looked great, like the actual creature and the monster. So if you like sci-fi, you like horror, it's a classic. Check it out. Fatal Attraction. Honestly, this was a pretty good movie. Yeah, see it if you haven't. The Firm. Sidney Pollack. Oh, you know who Sidney Pollack is? He's that guy from Eyes Wide Shut that people think is secretly the leader of that weird sex cult, the red guy, because the way he was tapping the billiard cube. I don't remember his name, but Sidney Pollack, that's him. The Firm was based off some dude's book. I don't know, John Grisham or something, like another one of those adult, pharmacy store books. What was the big flaw of this movie? I think it was way too long, and by the end, it was one of those movies where I was like, what is going on? The plot got so convoluted. Was it good to see once? Yeah, sure. Evil Dead Rise. This was great, okay? I've seen the other Evil Dead movies, and I gotta say, this might be my favorite one. I don't know. It's just like Bruce Campbell was, like his spirit was there. I think he produced it, or I don't think he directed it, but he produced it or something. Good movie, very scary, some creative camera angles, interesting kills. The monster in the end was cool. I loved it. If you like gory horror movies, I had no problems with it. Miss March. Okay. One of those dudes is dead now, I think. Another forgettable mid-budget 2000s comedy movie. White background, red text, two idiots on the cover. Something, they go to something comedy Playboy mansion. I chuckled a few times. Don't see this one. Licorice Pizza. That's a disgusting title. But the movie was okay. People, I think, gave it a lot more credit than it deserves. She's from that band. They're pretty good if you don't know them. It had Bradley Cooper in it. And that whole scene, remember they used that in the trailer and other stuff where he's like, I'm dating Barbara Streisand. He's like, Streisand? He's like, no, Streisand. And You could tell it's one of those like improv scenes where it's like, just let the camera roll. Let them act it out for 5 minutes. And like, I feel like they carried that scene on for way too long. Would I watch this again? No. Inception, it just took itself so seriously. Like there's some things I like that Christopher Nolan does. And then there's stuff like this, like interesting concept. Sure. I feel like he just gets a concept and then just works a movie around it. These characters are like non-entities. I don't care about them. I didn't know their names. I could barely understand what they were saying. It's mostly just for the spectacle, which was a spectacle to behold, as they say. It was impressive. It's just like, I don't care about what's going on. You got to have some of the human element. See it if you haven't, if you like sci-fi. So I haven't seen the Austin Powers movies in a while, so I watched all of them. This movie was hilarious. If you've never seen it, check it out. And Austin Powers 2, I say the same for. You know, strangely, the only thing is Heather Graham's acting was really bad in this. Mini-Me's great. Yeah, they're all classics. There's only two things I hate in this world. People who are intolerant of other people's cultures and the Dutch. Monster House, 2000s, animated kids horror comedy movie. It was good. You know, I think this movie has had a bit of a resurgence in popularity. People relook at this and say, oh, that was pretty good because it was pretty good. Schizopolis or Schizopolis, however you want to say it. Schizopolis. I don't really know the words to describe this movie. It was an experience. I didn't know whether to put it in my top 10 or my bottom 10, which I'll get to at the end of this whole list. If you haven't seen it, it's a trip. It's really weird. Watch it if you have crazy tastes. I'll say that. I really don't know what to say about this movie. I got on a little Mike Myers kick after the Austin Powers movies, and this was okay. It got some chuckles out of me, but really you can skip it. Borat 2, or Borat's subsequent movie film. It's funny. I laughed. The character Borat's hilarious. Obviously, I still prefer Borat 1. It was just more generally funny. This seemed like it had a very political bend to it. Not even like I disagreed with all of his messages or anything or agreed with them. It just felt like it was like the first one was just funny. Here he's like setting out to make a point. Fun with Dick and Jane. This is forgettable, mid-budget, 2000s comedy movie. Light background, red text, two goofballs on the cover. Here we are once again. This is the movie that I think was inspired by the crash of Enron around the early 2000s, that big company that did whatever and they failed. Would I watch it again? No. Little Miss Sunshine. Okay, so mid-budget, 2000s, indie, comedy, kind of. I thought it was funny. It was a very dry humor, a dark comedy. Well acted by everyone. Steve Carell, he did a great job. Insidious, The Red Door. I don't think it was the best Insidious movie. Probably give that to the first. If you like the Insidious movies, you know, check it out if you like the series. If you're not a fan of the series, then you shouldn't watch it. Mid-90s. Okay, this is that indie low-budget movie that Jonah Hill made. I think Jonah Hill directed it. Yeah, that was this big thing. He's like, I'm going to make a movie, coming-of-age movie, about my unique experiences growing up in the mid-90s. And cool skateboarder culture in California. Look at them, hard-edge punks. That's me. It's supposed to represent me. It was fine. You know, it's one of those things where, like, they think it's just really edgy and intelligent to have the kids, like, beat the crap out of each other and curse all the time. I don't care. Adam Sandler, Big Daddy. I liked it. I mean, I can't say it's a great movie, but there's something about Adam Sandler, man. Looking at back at these movies like 20 years later, I'm like, yeah, they're stupid, but they're genuine. It was touching. Good movie. Jon Stewart gets little Anakin in the end, which was sad. I remember my favorite joke from this was Adam Sandler like takes a can of soup and he's trying to save money and he like crushes the can of soup and Anakin's like, why are you doing that? He's like, oh, Microsoft went down. We got to save money. I just thought it was stupid, but funny. So yeah, that's how you describe all of Adam Sandler's movies. Just fine. Click. All right, Adam Sandler kick. Somehow he looks worse here on this cover. He looks better here pissing on the side of this building than he does in this photoshopped thing here. Adam Sandler gets this remote that can like control the world. You know, he can pause time, fast forward, rewind, all that. He was doing all kinds of funny stuff with the remote in the trailer. Like some girl was jogging and he puts it in slow motion, he watches her jog, and then like he pauses it and like puts something like a bucket of water above his boss's head and hits play, and everyone's like, aha, he's being, you know, a jerk ass Adam Sandler. But it ended up being really sad because he just like fast forwarded too much through life and watched his family fall apart. And he's like dying at the end. Looking back, it was kind of morbid. Bridesmaids. All right, I am not the demographic for this movie, but I'll watch anything. It made me laugh more than I thought it would. If you want a silly comedy, even if you're a dude, check it out. Sin City. So I haven't seen this since it came out in theaters. I was probably too young to get it at the time. The dialogue was so corny. And I know it's based off a comic book or graphic novel, whatever. I had a hard time getting through it. Jim Cotta. Okay, I have seen this before, but I watched it again to do my bad movie breakdown of it. And if you haven't seen it, see it if you like good, bad movies. And I mean like movies that are so bad that they're kind of amazing. This is a perfect example of one. Check it out if you haven't seen it. Same goes for this movie, The Miami Connection. On the same level as Jim Cotta, honestly, probably more funny. I've only seen it once. I have to see it again. It was hilarious. Birdemic. So I was on a bad movie kick. Who could have seen the final cut and said, yeah, we're done. This is good. Release it to the world. Like, okay, so think about The Room. So like Tommy Wiseau, crazy rich guy who makes a movie, and he's got terrible taste, he's eccentric and all that. But The Room was at least like competent. That's weird to say. The Room, compared to this, The Room was like a competent movie. It was like soap opera level production. They had lights, they had cameras that worked, they had sound that you could hear. This was like, and look, it came out in like 2010, 2011. Shoot this on your iPhone and it would have looked 10 times as better. I can't, as a big fan of good bad movies, I actually didn't like this. Steve Carell, Dan in Real Life. So this is not the poster I remember for this. If everyone remember, there's a poster where he's sleeping on a bunch of pancakes. Because why would he be sleeping on pancakes? There's syrup in his hair. But see, he's depressed. It's a forgettable 2000s mid-budget comedy movie with a white background, red text, and a cast of goofballs, including Dane Cook. Bruce Almighty here falls for this, I think she's French or something, but like she's, she's engaged to this guy or something. I don't know, it was all right. Like basically Steve Carell is depressed. It's like the second movie. He was also depressed in Little Miss Sunshine. Can I recommend it? No. Blended. All right, Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore. I think this is the second movie that they were both in, first being 50 First Dates, and I think I saw this on Netflix. I don't remember hearing a thing about this when it came out. I don't remember seeing it in theaters or anything. But you know, as it says right here, it felt good and it was hilarious. It wasn't like milk shooting out of your nose funny. I laughed more than I was expecting to, and it was heartwarming. A feel-good family comedy movie. And sometimes that's what you need. It worked. Anger Management. You see, I've been on an Adam Sandler kick last year. So Anger Management, I used to love this movie. I haven't seen it in a long time. And I still love this movie. It only got funnier. I can quote pretty much every line in this thing. If you haven't seen it, it's one of Adam Sandler's best movies. Oh my God, I watched too many Adam Sandler movies. Jesus Christ. All right, so here's the other one. Him and Drew Barrymore. Honestly, I liked Blended better. Oh, Jesus Christ. She forgets stuff and he, you know, it's kind of heartwarming because he has to like win her love over every time, which I don't know, seems a little exhausting. Yeah, it was, you know, romantic. And there's a penguin. Reality bites. All right, it's a bunch of kids in the 90s just figuring it out. You know, it's 90s MTV culture. I'm going to run around with a video camera, film my friends, show everyone what it's really like to be in the 90s. And, oh my God, MTV picked up my video because they think it's edgy. Oh my God. That's what the whole movie felt like. Like, you just don't get it, man. How can you be with me if you're not the 90s? I'm the 90s. That's what this whole thing felt like. I did, would I watch it again? No. The Big Shave, a film by Martin Scorsese. This was like 2 minutes long, and it's some guy just starts shaving, and he shaves so much he just like bleeds profusely. I don't know what the point of it was, but it was just kind of gory. I kind of laughed. I don't know. It wasn't supposed to be funny. Stealing Harvard. Oh, Tom Green. Tom Green's hilarious. So I watched this and 2000s, mid-budget, indie, comedy, white background, red text, goofballs on the cover. Would I watch it again? No, but Tom Green is always funny. Talk to Me. This was an Australian horror movie or New Zealand or, somewhere way down south. And something about like you shake that hand and you say, talk to me, and it like puts you in the spirit realm and creepy crap starts happening. Kind of felt like It Follows a bit. It was good. If you like these type of movies, watch it. The War Room, political documentary I saw on HBO Max about the dad from That 70s Show and the guy from Office Space. No, this is Stephanopoulos, and this is, what's his name? James Carville, the Raging Cajun guy. Captures a moment in time kind of thing, which is, it's what documentaries do. Competent. Would I watch it again? No. Final Girl. Okay, so this movie was a surprise because it was so bad, I ended up loving it. It started, and I was like, okay, I remember that when it started. I was like, oh, this is okay. And it kept going. And I was like, this is really bad. And then I was like, I'm bored. And then 10 minutes later, I'm like, no, this is hilarious. This is what the movie is. It was shot so weirdly, was acted so weirdly. The plot was incomprehensible. It was just stupid. I kind of want to do a bad movie breakdown of this some point. So if you like really dumb stuff, if you like dumb, this is a smart choice. The Wire. Okay, so this is another one of those full-length HBO TV big drama pure kino series that is the reason there's only 90-something movies on this list because, it takes a long time to watch those. This was one of them, and it was really good. You are so not coming to my bar, but you are just, you are so not invited to my bat mitzvah. So this is Adam Sandler, produced. I don't know if he directed it, but basically he got a lot of his family members to be in it. I think that's his daughter. Again, I am not the target demographic for this movie, but it was good. I liked it, and that's the thing. If a movie is good, it doesn't matter if you're the demographic for it or not. I laughed more than I was expecting to. It was good. Sometimes you just need a nice, heartwarming comedy movie. Eastern Promises. Oh, that was by David Cronenberg? Oh, maybe I should try and watch that again. I don't know, because I fell asleep. But I just remember there was a big scene where Viggo Mortensen beats the crap out of someone when he's naked. I was like, this is stupid. But maybe I'll watch it again. A Haunting in Venice. We went to go see this in theaters. I knew nothing about this. I did not know that that's supposed to be Agatha Christie character guy detective who's been 90 of her novels or whatever. It was related to Death on the Nile and Murder on the Orient Express. This is the same guy, same series from that. No idea. And I loved it. It was pretty good. Honestly, I like this better than those other two that I just mentioned. Killer's Kiss. So this is a Stanley Kubrick movie. I'm not going to say too much about this because I reviewed it on a different video on my channel more in depth. Would I say it's my favorite Kubrick movie? No, but there's some cool camera angles and stuff, and it's good if you like film noir kind of crap. Tricky Dick. I did watch a lot of political documentaries last year, didn't I? So this is another one on HBO Max, which is Time Warner, which is why CNN has their stuff on there. And, it's about Nixon, who's a fascinating historical figure. The craziest thing about this to me that I learned was that Nixon had a secret tape recorder in the Oval Office and he taped important people, himself included. It was running all the time, taped all their conversations, maybe to use as blackmail or something. I don't know. It's just crazy to me. And he was genuinely shocked when the tapes were leaked and people found this stuff out. I'm like, what did you think was going to happen, man? Why you stick a tape recorder in the White House and talk explicitly about, doing illegal stuff? What? Why? Martin Scorsese made a biopic about George Harrison. It was very good. I'm not the biggest Beatles fan. I didn't know that he was that into meditation and Eastern philosophy. It followed through with him to the rest of his life, till his last days. So interesting. Well done if you like this stuff. Teen Witch. So this was apparently had to do with the Teen Wolf franchise, or was made in and around it. I think she's got a name. It's like Zelda Quasimodo or something. She played this like psychic gypsy lady, and she gives this girl, I guess it's Robin Liley, which supernatural powers. I laughed and enjoyed this way more than I was expecting. It was a good comedy. If you've never seen it, I can recommend this. Small poster. Another political documentary, The Bush Years. Again, I saw this on HBO Max, CNN documentary thing, and this was really well done. The Bush family political dynasty goes back almost 100 years at this point, and the crazy thing I learned was the story about H.W. Bush when he was in World War II. Like, he had to go out on some mission to take down some Japanese guns on an island or something. He was a fighter pilot, and the rest of his team bailed or got shot down. And he said, no, I'm going to finish the mission. So he took down whatever he was supposed to eliminate. On his way back, he got hit, and he crash landed into the shark-infested waters of the Pacific. But he survived by floating on a piece of his plane. And then a U.S. submarine came out of the water, and he flagged them down and got aboard. And that's how he survived. I was like, holy crap. They do not make presidents like that anymore with that type of background. Species. Yeah, it was good. Was it great? No. I feel like I've seen this premise before. Alien comes down, it takes the shape and form of a beautiful lady and seduces people and then feeds on them, kills them, whatever. Yeah, see it once. The Lost Boys. It was good. I wasn't wild about it. It's an iconic movie in the sense of iconography. Like, we all know this look. Santa Monica Pier, 1980s, edginess, Echo and the Bunnymen. Would I watch it again? No. A Forbidden Orange. So I'll eventually get to this in my Stanley Kubrick thing as a bonus episode, but this was interesting. It was a documentary about a very, very specific subject. Spain in the 70s, there was a film festival that was independently financed by a bunch of the bohemian art crowd in Spain. And I think they had fascism way longer than other places. It was like a Franco, whatever his name was. They're very controlling of what art was shown officially in the country, and somehow they got this movie in. It caused an uproar, but everyone remembers it quite fondly. Interesting documentary. Better than I thought it would be. Dracula 2000. You know, I like bad things, but this was I wasn't even entertained. You can skip. The Drop. Okay, look, honestly, people are praising Tom Hardy's performance in this. I don't know if he's like supposed to play a simpleton or he just is a simpleton. He's just like, yeah, okay. What do you think about that? Oh, okay. Right. I don't know. Like, his whole acting role is just kind of like mumbling and acting like he is a room temperature IQ. My favorite line from this whole movie is just James Gandolfini going, it's a dog. And the guy's like, what do I do with it? He's like, it's a dog. Kind of want to make a joke edit out of it. Would I watch it again? Nah. American Beauty. So it is another one that I've seen before. I haven't seen in a very long time. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It takes itself very seriously, but I think it's good. Paranormal Activity. So we watched this. I haven't seen it since it came out. And honestly, the first one, for what it is, it's good. Everyone knows what found footage movies are by the time this came out, but this just reignited that whole subgenre because very low budget, but it was well done enough and creepy enough that they could have stopped at this. But hey, if it makes money, it's milk it to death. Allen vs. Farrow. So this was a 4-part HBO documentary about the Woody Allen versus Mia Farrow thing. The whole controversy, scandal, lawsuits. I'll never watch it again. No. Okay, guess who's coming to dinner? So this was, what was this from, like 67 or 69 or something? And it was really good. For being 50 plus years old right now, it holds up very well, as in like it's paced well. The dialogue's not in some corny way that you can't relate to. Like it felt timeless, It felt like it could have been a stage play. Maybe it was a stage play or a book first. I don't know. Who cares? A-grade movie. Reservoir Dogs. So again, of course, I've seen this before. I haven't seen it in a very long time. Rewatched it, and there was a lot more that I get about it now. I think the very first time I saw it, I didn't like it because I was just expecting Pulp Fiction 2, which doesn't make any sense because it came out before, but I saw Pulp Fiction first, so whatever. If you haven't seen it, it's a classic heist gone wrong movie. These guys had this whole bank robbery thing planned, and just everything just gets messed up, and it's just about the drama and the violence, and has a good soundtrack. All right, this is the third full HBO Big Adult Pure Kino drama series that I watched all the way through, which I loved the show. The show was great, really good. If you like these type of big HBO drama shows, it was good. Stanley Kubrick's Fear and Desire. This was the first feature film he directed, and it had a very low budget, which you don't normally associate with Kubrick. It was cool to see Stanley Kubrick, who's known for like these big, grand, epic things, do something that had a budget of like $10,000. It was literally just him and 10 other people in the woods filming this thing. I thought it was really well done. And Stranger's Kiss, which I covered previously, so I'm not going to talk too much about this. I believe this is the last movie on this list right now. This is a weird interpretation about the romance that may or may not have happened between the two main leads in Stanley Kubrick's Killer's Kiss. Never heard of this before. Very low budget, but for what it was, it's pretty good. I don't know if I'd watch it again, but it was good. So, top 10 movies from this selection. Infinity Pool, Burn After Reading, John Wick 4, Evil Dead Rise, Little Miss Sunshine, Miami Connection, The War Room, Haunting in Venice, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, and Boardwalk Empire. Those are the best things I saw in 2023. Let's see the worst things I've seen. Notting Hill, piece of crap. Coneheads, stupid. Garp, what the hell? The Freshman, no thank you. The Big Chill, more like the big never watching this again, right? Cocaine Bear, missed opportunity. Missed opportunity. The One, I like dumb, but this was just dumb. Urge, like I said, the only reason you should watch this is for Pierce Brosnan's performance. Everyone else was just like, what are you doing? Final Girl, objectively terrible, but I kind of enjoyed it because it was so bad. But I can't say this is a good movie. Dracula 2000, I actually did not like this movie. So that's it for today. If you made it this far, thank you. I appreciate you staying around for this long. Hope you enjoy this. And sorry this video is late. I meant to make this before Christmas, but life gets in the way. Things are busy, whatever. And I've been lazy. It's a big factor. Here's to another year of movie watching. Cheers. Goodbye.